"My father said you needed a wife," she whispered, and I said he was right. The old wooden gate creaked open just as the sun settled over the mountains, and a young woman stepped onto my lonely farm carrying nothing but a worn leather suitcase and a secret that would change everything. Her eyes were filled with uncertainty, but there was something else hidden behind them, hope. She stood there silently until the wind carried her trembling words across the dusty yard. "My father said you needed a wife," she whispered. I stared at her, stunned by the impossible sentence, never imagining that the answer waiting inside my broken heart would be the simplest truth I had ever spoken. He was right. Before we continue, if you believe kindness can heal the deepest wounds and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in hope, and subscribe to Kindness Echoes. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories that remind the world compassion still exists. 5 years before that unforgettable afternoon, I had buried not only my father, but also the life I thought I would live. The family farm had once echoed with laughter, neighbors, and Sunday dinners that lasted until the stars filled the sky. After he passed away, silence became my closest companion. Every sunrise demanded another day of impossible work, and every sunset reminded me there was no one waiting inside the house. I repaired fences alone, harvested crops alone, and ate every meal at the same weathered kitchen table where 2 empty chairs gathered dust. The land survived because I refused to quit, but somewhere along the way, I had stopped truly living. People in town whispered that I was too young to become an old man. They invited me to church gatherings, county fairs, and neighborhood celebrations, but I always found another excuse. Loneliness slowly became familiar, and familiar things are surprisingly difficult to escape. I convinced myself that the farm needed me more than any relationship ever could. It was easier to work until exhaustion than to admit I missed having someone ask how my day had been. Unknown to me, my father had left behind more than memories. During the last months of his illness, he had become friends with another struggling farmer named Samuel. They spent long afternoons talking about family, hardship, and the strange ways life tests ordinary people. Samuel had a daughter named Emma. After losing her mother, she spent years caring for her father through failing health and overwhelming debts. Before my father died, the 2 aging men made a simple promise to each other. If life ever left one of their children completely alone, the other family would reach out with kindness. Neither man imagined their children would carry so much grief. Samuel passed away only weeks before Emma appeared at my gate. With nowhere else to go, she discovered an old letter among her father's belongings. Inside, he described me not as a stranger, but as a good man whose heart had simply forgotten how to hope. At the bottom of the page, he wrote one final sentence that gave her the courage to travel across 3 states with everything she owned packed into a single suitcase. She arrived expecting nothing. I expected even less. The first weeks were uncomfortable for both of us. She stayed in the small guest room while helping around the farm without ever asking for anything in return. She rose before sunrise, prepared breakfast, fed the chickens, learned to repair broken equipment, and somehow found time to bring warmth back into a house that had felt abandoned for years. Fresh flowers appeared on the kitchen table. Curtains were opened to welcome the morning light. Laughter, quiet at first, slowly found its way into conversations neither of us realized we desperately needed. Still, pain doesn't disappear simply because happiness knocks on the door. Emma carried invisible scars that no one could see. She blamed herself for being unable to save her father from debt and illness. I carried my own burden, believing I had failed my father by allowing loneliness to consume me. 2 broken people shared the same roof, each pretending to be stronger than they truly were. Then disaster struck. An unexpected storm tore across the valley with relentless fury. Powerful winds flattened crops, destroyed fencing, and ripped apart one side of the old barn that my father had built with his own hands decades earlier. Standing in the muddy field after the storm passed, I finally felt defeated. Years of work seemed destroyed overnight. For the first time in my life, I admitted aloud that I didn't think I could rebuild. Emma never answered with grand speeches. She simply picked up a broken wooden board, carried it toward the barn, and started working. One neighbor noticed, then another. Within hours, trucks began arriving from every direction. Farmers brought lumber, families delivered hot meals, teenagers repaired fences, while older craftsmen rebuilt the damaged roof. Some donated money, others gave seed for the next planting season. No one asked for repayment. Later, I learned why. Emma had quietly spent months helping nearly everyone in town. She babysat children for exhausted parents, delivered food to elderly neighbors, visited lonely widows, and volunteered wherever someone needed an extra pair of hands. She never mentioned any of it because she believed kindness wasn't something to announce, it was simply something to do. The compassion she planted in others returned exactly when we needed it most. Watching dozens of people rebuild